Salam, Prof.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Wahid. Thank you for
Most welcome.
attending our forum today. We have a forum that is held both online and as well as offline. So we have guests online as well as we got guests offline in Center for Policy Research. Good morning to everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Thank you very much. Thank you for making it. In Malaysia right now, in Penang, it's raining in Penang, so it's cold. So I think a lot of people find it very cozy and nice to sleep in. So thank you very much for those who have made it. Yeah. And today we have a speaker, Mr. Samir, who is a Middle Eastern analyst as well as consultant. Right? He's an expert in the study of political economy as well as international relations. There are people coming in I'll let them in. You're going to check. Yeah. There are more people coming online right now. Mr. Samir has been researching Middle East for more than a decade now, and now his research is on the relations between China and the Middle East, specifically the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. Thank you so much, Dr. Mutadi. Together with us are Dr. Amar and Mutadi are here too, Brother Mutadi here too. And Mas Hanif is as present as well. So today our topic is on China's Belt and Road Initiative, the 4 scenarios of militarization, and just to bring ourselves to the focus on the forum itself. The forum is on Global Futures Forum. It is a forum that promotes a number of things. Number one, to promote a responsible future. So we want to discuss the future and to have a discourse, an intellectual discourse on creating a future that is responsible, that is sustainable as well. The second one is the idea of future literacy. So in Global Futures Forum, we look at futures as an important perspective. So we have a temporal analysis of past, present, and the future. And UNESCO has identified future literacy as a key literacy that must be promoted, must be developed in schools as well as universities, given the context that we are facing different crises, and least of which is the COVID, where a lot of people were taken by surprise, including the experts. So a lot of people were not prepared because perhaps of the linear perspective of the future, and yet the future can have multiple scenarios. So having a futures perspective, having futures literacy is extremely important for scholars in the social sciences as well as in the natural sciences. So that is the second one. The third one is a global perspective of our reality right now. So we seek to bring in speakers as well as discussants to understand our reality now, which is very much more interconnected than ever before. And what happens in New York has an impact to us. What happened to us in China might have impact to Southeast Asia, to Middle East. What happened in the Middle East affects the rest of the world as well. Yeah. So all this interconnectedness making us like a global village. So the idea of this perspective is an important perspective. That's why we are having this series of Global Futures Forum to engage various speakers in this field, in various fields, and to look at the futures in a responsible way, and to understand that there are multiple scenarios that can emerge in this our temporal line, our chronology of life in this world. And finally, today we are bringing in a different dimension to our forum as well. We have Dr. Wahid, who is an expert in international relations, who have written many articles on terrorism, who have researched on the Islamic world, the Muslim world as well. Dr. Wahid is also the Deputy Vice Chancellor of University Muhammadiyah Malaysia. It is the first university from Indonesia in Malaysia, and I'm happy to inform you that Muhammadiyah as an organization, as a faith-based organization, is one of the successful models of Nusantara NGOs, international NGO, and proven by the fact that we have University Muhammadiyah Malaysia, that's located in Perlis in the north of Malaysia, operating right now, accepting students from for postgraduate studies, masters and PhD. So this is a model for other universities to follow. And Dr. Wahid has served in many different capacities and have been around throughout different parts of the world. So Dr. Wahid is an expert, and we are happy to have Dr. Wahid as a discussant to give response to the presentation of Mr. Samir today. So if we are ready, we're ready. Mr. Samir, the floor is yours. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Wahid. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And today I will try to talk about the Belt and Road Initiative, strategies, objectives, security challenges, and implication for the Arab region. Actually, the Belt and Road Initiative is a comprehensive strategy aiming to develop the Silk Road economic belt and the 21st century maritime Silk Road. By the way, how much I have time to?
You have about 35 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Next. Okay. BRI was announced by Xi Jinping in September 2013 during trips to Kazakhstan and Tunisia. The Middle East, the main goal is to enhance trade and investment links between China and various regions spanning Europe, Central Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. The official BRI plan emphasizes collaboration in infrastructure development, policy alignment, trade facilitation, financial integration, and people-to-people exchange. Actually, BRI includes 6 land corridor and maritime roads spanning the South China Sea and Indian Ocean to Mediterranean ports, as well as roads across the South China Sea to the South Pacific. Prior to BRI, China had been pursuing policy initiative to enhance connectivity with Europe, Africa, and other parts of Asia, including developing and squaring ports in Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean. Corridors like the Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar corridor and the China-Pakistan economic corridor were established before BRI formal inception. BRI is seen an expansion of existing policies and practice at the subnational level in China. BRI China's Community Party has established new institutions and mobilized significant resources to advance BRI. BRI has attracted attention from business, government, and scholars across various disciplines during its potential to reshape the geo-economical landscape. Researchers have suggested that BRI has motivations find its immediate region, while others see it as a response to challenges faced by the Chinese Community Party domestically and regionally. There are three strategies, objectives of the Chinese BRI. First one, economic objectives, geopolitical objectives, and cultural and diplomatic objectives. About the economic objectives, now, what's the economic objectives? Promote trade and investment, enhance market access for Chinese companies, stimulate economic development in BRI countries, internationalization of the renminbi, promote the use of China's renminbi in trade and investment transaction among BRI countries. Geopolitical objectives. What are the geopolitical objectives of the Chinese BRI? Counterbalance US and Western influence, cultivate strategies, partnership, promote regional stability, enhance energy security, support sustainable energy development, foster long-term energy security. The cultural and diplomatic objectives: enhance soft power, shape international narratives, deepen diplomatic engagement, advance global governance vision, cultivate public diplomacy, manage strategies concerns. Next, please. The security challenges and vulnerabilities along the BRI roads. First one, geopolitical, the security challenges and vulnerability along the Belt Road Initiative, BRI roads. First one, geopolitical tensions. The geopolitical tensions, for example, the Kashmir conflict between India and Pakistan, affect the security of China-Pakistan economic corridor. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan threatens the BRI Trans-Caspian East-West Middle Corridor. South China Sea involve tensions between China and countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia. Now, the second one, terrorism and extremism. For example, the terrorist group like the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan and the East Turkestan Islamic Movement in Central Asia threaten BRI infrastructure. The Taliban in Afghanistan and terrorist organization in Pakistan pose risk to SBES projects. The Middle East and North Africa region is prone to terrorist activity, threatening maritime trade routes and port facilities. Third challenges: piracy and maritime security. Piracy, for example, piracy in the stuff in Malacca, the Strait of Malacca, the Gulf of Aden, and the Indian Ocean in dangerous maritime trade and energy transportation. Escalation territorial, despite in the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean, called disrupt vital sea lands. The fourth challenge is political instability. Political instability, same political turmoil, causes of civil unrest in partner countries can disrupt BRI project. For example, Syria, civil war, Myanmar, military coups. The fifth challenges natural disaster and environment risks, earthquakes, floods, and landslide pose direct threat to BRI infrastructure, especially in general Asia and South Asia. The last one, long-term security and cooperation. The BRI has the potential to foster improved security cooperation between China and partner countries, creating a new security system independent of Western influence. Addressing these security challenges requires comprehensive strategies, increased cooperation with partner nations, and commitment to promoting stability in affected regions. Based on the above, we have 4 scenarios for militarization, BRI militarization. The first one, measured strategy. A measured strategy, what's this scenarios? The strengthened military presence and limited security operations along BRI roads without permanent passes. Maybe the deployment of people armies, policy, or private security contractors for safeguarding personnel and infrastructure. Third, utilization to private military contractors for security, risk assessment, and logistical support. Increased maritime patrol and participations in multilateral security initiatives to combat piracy. The second scenario, talking about assertive approach. The assertive approach, establishment of military bases, logistics hubs, and support facilities along BRI roads, construction and operation of bases of or dual-use facilities and at the strategies location, creation of logistic hubs and resupply points to support military movements. The third scenario, talking about maritime focus, deployment of naval access to maritime checkpoint and trade routes, establishment of naval support facilities and strategic locations. The fourth scenarios, talking about comprehensive militarization, projection of military power through the inter-BRI network on land and across seas. Routing military drills, patrol and missions at established passes.
Can you go through again the four so that actually the key words for the four so that we can
The keyword of the four.
for the four, yeah, some key words on this so that we
Okay, the comprehensive militarization. This is the scenario.
Yeah.
The keyword of this scenario, projection.
The fourth one,
Yeah. Comprehensive militarization, projection of military power throughout that enter BRI network on land and across seas, routine military drills, patrols, and missionet at established passes, strengthening security, collaborate with allied nations, and incorporating security aspect into economic pacts.
So you're saying that China will be doing a comprehensive militarization.
China now have four scenarios.
All right, okay, got it.
What's the scenario under the situation? China can use one of them, or maybe mixed two or three or all.
All right, okay.
Okay.
And some other keywords for the rest, maritime, assertive, measure. Just some keywords so that we can recapture what you said.
Okay, Martin Focus. Again, Martin Focus scenario talking about deployment of naval assist of Martin checkpoint and trade routes. Establishment of naval support facilities at strategic locations. Conducting regular maritime security operation and anti-piracy patrols. Increasing participation in multilateral maritime security initiatives and information sharing mechanisms.
How about assertive?
About the
Assertive approach.
Okay, assertive approach, establishment of military passes, logistic hubs, and support facilities along BRI roads, construction and operation of passes or dual-use facilities at strategic location, creation of logistic hubs and resupply points to support military movement, enhancement of intelligence and reconnaissance capabilities for situation awareness.
All right, okay, yeah. So assertive meaning they're in the forefront, right? In the moving forward, right? They're not measured, as opposed to the last one is measured. Assertive is moving forward in the strategy there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, proceed. Sorry, I wanted to clarify so that we have.
Okay.
So the next slide.
Now, we talk about the fourth scenario. Now we need to talk about the Chinese strategies to confront security challenges. The first strategies, military presence and passes. The military presence and passes, expansion of military footprint, establishment of overseas military passes, potential new military facilities, pilot and strategic ambiguity, closer defense ties with BRI partners. The alliance and partnership, the strengthening traditional alliance, for example, Pakistan and North Korea, Russia, cultivate a new partnership in Central Asia or other region, diplomatic and economic leverage, economic statecraft, debt trade diplomacy, expansion of Chinese companies, soft power outreach. Now, if we talk about the China and Middle East now, what the security situation and security architecture, the Middle East is a critical link in the BRI, connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. Its geographic position makes it a vital hub for trade routes, particularly through the Suez Channel, Suez Channel, and other key maritime checkpoints. The region is also a major source of energy for China, with 5 of its top crude oil suppliers located in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia and Iran. China has focused on security. China has focused on securing its investment through diplomatic engagement, economic partnership, and increasingly security cooperation with regional states. Despite its principle of non-interference, China has shown a growing interest in mediating conflict and contributing to the regional stability, recognizing that a secure environment it is essential for the success of the BRI. Next time. And next. In summary, while the Middle East is vital to the BRI success, its security challenges require a multifaceted approach, balanced diplomatic, economic, and when necessary, security measures to protect China's interests in the region. In conclusion, the Belt and Road Initiative aims to reshape global economic integration and connectively enhancing China's global influence. While the BRI promotes trade and opens a new market, it also seeks to increase China's strategies, leverage secure energy routes, and advance to a Beijing central global order. The initiative navigates through conflict-prone areas and faces threats from terrorism, instability, and geopolitical rivalries. Beijing has modernized its military, foreign strategic partnership, and will likely use combinations of economic statecraft, alliance, and selective military deployment to protect its interest. The BRI success will depend on China's ability to balance economic and geopolitical ambitions with respect for the sovereignty of partner nations. The initiative effectiveness will be measured by its ability to foster sustainable development and avoid creating instability. About the recommendations, future research should explore the impact of technological innovation, shift in the political landscape, global crisis, and internal change with China's on the BRI, examining how domestic socio-political issues in China and external global development may influence the BRI trajectory. Further studies should focus on the interdependence and impact of social, economic, and political factors on the BRI progress and stability. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Samir. It's a short presentation, but a very important presentation. Bringing the discourse of China into the Middle East into our the narrative of the Middle East is sometimes being overlooked. That China is present in the Middle East, and yet China is a growing global power right now, and something that is obvious and often overlooked. That China is present in the Middle East, and I think we must also take note that China has been to some extent successful in bringing Saudi and Iran into into a peace table, and that says something about China, China's ability and China's intention to be more active in the Middle East. Yeah. In our audience today, we have people from China, from Indonesia, from the Arab world, and a few others. A few other guests that I'm not sure they have attended. So I welcome you all to participate and in our audience here as well. And before, if I may, we can get the input from Dr. Wahid. Dr. Wahid afterwards will be catching a flight. Dr. Wahid is in Jakarta right now, but he is kind enough to accept the invitation to be a discussant to our forum today. So Dr. Wahid, we look forward to your insights and your ideas and your inputs to our forum today. The floor is yours, Dr. Wahid.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Rifani. Let me start by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brother Samir and all the other participants that are speaking from Jakarta. Unfortunately, I usually come to see Prof. Rifani in person in my pleasure. This evening, I'm back in Jakarta. That's why I'm going back to Malaysia. I very much appreciate Dr. Samir for the presentation. It was wonderful insight and a lot of things that I think before was not really in many of these cases either in a forum or in a journal. But this is something that people usually and also me myself, especially in responding issues of BRI. Secondly, I'm so sorry for Rifani that I did not provide any PowerPoint.
No,
I've been here already for 3 days, but was very busy. But inshallah, I will get respond and this is Dr. Samir was presenting just now in 3 days. The first is that all to see, especially those who are studying international and international politics, both politics and economic, is wishing to see a new world order that people is aiming to come in this current time. We have been so tough and maybe angry also with the past situation where the new world order is not really in the line of what the United Nations mission is supposed to be to create a peace. And this BRI or China rule or whatever existing both in political security and also economic is happening might be one of the alternative that may happen. So this is my first response to what Brother Samir was presenting about the future of BRI. That, you know, of course, many of us thinking only about the development and trade. That is what also I understood about the project that I call the BRI here, focusing on trade and economic. And very little I study and I read about the military role. But what Brother Samir was presenting is a lot of what is that? A lot of insight that you know might happen or maybe happening already within the BRI, which I think also is a question for me, Prof. Rifani, whether it is actually the main mission or it is only as a factor that you know might impact to the BRI. As we know that the BRI here is more on trading, economic, building infrastructure, and of course we know the diplomacy and the culture in it, because I cannot imagine in any ways of development happening. It has to be also dealing with the culture and the diplomacy. But maybe not so much. But in Indonesia, a lot of construction happening, especially on toll road building. It's creating a lot of tension between the government and the community, because it's deal with the land ownership, with the what is it, negotiation of price and of course sometimes when the road is what you call it, passing to the like you know very honorable place where people is really honoring, but then the road has to be you know passed through that area. That's of course a lot of tension is happening. There's also just the discussion on the new tunnel in Thailand, for instance, for the BRI construction. So that thing might, you know, come to the analysis, come to the discourse whether the BRI here is going to be in a new new world order for the global. That's my first response to Brother Samir. My second response is that this military, well, before going to military, that will be I put on the third response to your presentation, is on the diplomacy. Later, I will also respond on the extremism and terrorism together with the military. But the second point here on the diplomacy, which include then, of course, culture, is it really a mission that China through BRI or through any other mission that the government of China is doing globally is actually a main project in quotation mark, as we know, or maybe all of us understood well, how the democracy has always become a tool for the Western, so far in doing this, you know, aspect, this factor, political diplomacy, culture. I have a discussion one with our dear friend in Kuala Lumpur, who is also studying international relations, that China is very progressive in promoting the what he called it the oh, I forgot, it's something related to peace, but it's like a sustainability piece, which they do not really discuss about, you know, human right, democracy. So it's according to, you know, my friend is that, you know, the Chinese is not promoting on this kind of issues. Yeah. it's become their own business. I mean, each of country business to deal with their situation, human right, and then culture, religion, and stuff. Yeah, but what the Chinese through this aspect, yeah, to this factor, political and cultural, is making sustainable peace. I do not know yet how the real implementation is going to be, or we all understand perhaps when we are talking about democracy that the Western is always proclaiming, and of course in terms of ideology become like a standard for anything, including the development, economic cooperation, partnership, and others. So I'm still not quite know well what is actually inside this sustainable peace that the Chinese in the factor, I mean, in the arena of political and cultural. So it was also mentioned by Brother Samir in the presentation that's become also part of the scenarios that the Chinese government is also implementing along with this BRI. Belt and Road Initiative. My third point is that, which is of course, this is very intriguing for me as a scholar who focusing on the counterterrorism. Of course, military. Brother Samir, I just got back from Iraq 2 weeks ago, and then, on the 19th actually, I just got back from Baghdad, and I've been visiting more than 5 cities in Iraq, and I just first of all as a Muslim from Indonesia, from small country, from you know I'm not studying in the Middle East, so I was imagining that Iraq is just like when the golden age of Muslims. So I'm imagining a lot of great building, huge universities. Our conference was in a Jamia, um, uh, Jamia Zahra Lil Banat or something. It's in the suburb of Baghdad, which is of course very beautiful campus, mostly supported and built by Iran, I believe. Um, but along that situation, a lot of, and I mean, first of all, my imagination was gone. I mean, it is really not like what I was thinking and I was imagining about, the Iraq, like in during the Mesopotamia time. So it was like a shock. Of course, I know what is the situation after the war, yeah? But I mean, it is still for me shocking looking at the situation in that city, including a big city like Baghdad. A lot of construction happening, of course, but it is only on the roads. So maybe Brother Samir can confirm whether it is part of BRI or something else. There's just a lot. Yeah, probably Fanny, if you can see, I was landed from Baghdad airport, and then I went to Najaf. I'm to Kufa, which is 3 hours drive by bus, by car. So it's only road construction that's happening. Building is still in array, and then I do not see. I saw a lot of military personnel on road. Checkpoint is almost maybe 20 meters or 50 meters away. One checkpoint, another 50 meters next checkpoint. So a lot of checkpoints. From Baghdad to Najaf itself, I cannot count it, hundreds of checkpoints. And it's equipped with tank, with gun, and it is just get ready. So then, responding the situation is just one of the example in Iraq. I do not know in other cities, maybe not like that. I mean, Qatar or Uni Emirat Arab or even Saudi Arabia or Iran itself. So maybe not like the situation, but in terms of then military, the scenario that the Chinese is going to do, again, I compare it with the West. When we're talking about military peace camp, as you said in your presentation, we cannot count how many the US have. Yeah, even in northern of Iraq, Mosul, there's a big one, yeah, US military camp there. Also close here in my country, just going south to Darwin, there's a military camp. So I mean, is that, I believe that's not the way how China is going to do, to have a military camp and station equipped with a lot of military weaponry. But again, if that a new way of securing the world, then maybe it will answer also my question on that's what the new world order is going to be. So it's different from the previous situation, different from the existing even situation as of today. So that's what, a lot of question. Maybe also what you recommend, your recommendation on your presentation in the issue of counterterrorism and extremism. It's another thing which is of course still challenging. I saw a lot of security, what you call it, white book of every country. They still put extremism and terrorism on the priority program. So that means like the world security is not really secure, and some of us, I mean, the scholar in the international relation and international politics, we know what is the source of it. Of course, Palestine, Israel is one of the case. So a lot of the issues should be in a new pace of the discussion, a new pace of action, a new pace of a design, and a new pace of scenario. So if the BRI, in my 3 point that I was saying, could be the answer of the new world order, then maybe that will be the answer. So maybe that's what I could say, Prof. Rifani, to respond, Brother Samir, which is very interesting. I would love to have join a research and writing journal together with Brother Samir. If I've been visiting Iraq. I mean, in terms of uh, knowing deeply about the issues in Middle East is just from this area. I've been in Islamic Madinah University for 1 month, but I do not really focusing on the issue. But my last visit to Iraq, yeah, Baghdad and around, is really giving me insight to see more what is actually going on in Middle East relating to what the Chinese scenario and this project, especially the BRI. One thing that I would like to say, Prof. Rifani, before I end my word, I read one article in a diplomatic courier. I can share later the link of the website. In the end of this paragraph, I mean, someone is writing on this. I read it. Beijing is partly re-embracing the pragmatic approach promoted by Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping after 1978. What is the his slogan? This is very important, I think, Prof. Rifani. Maybe this is what is actually happening, but not really on the surface. Deng said, hide your strength, bide your time. I think this is very, depth word that the Chinese and especially the government of China is really hold on it. So hide your strength, bide your time. Maybe this is already happening, and then they will see after 100 years. I think in 2049. I think that's their target to see. By the time will be in 2049. Maybe, I don't know. I think that's it, Prof. Hani. Thank you very much. Thank Brother Samir. And I end my words. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wahid. That is very insightful, very, yeah, very, what is it, very important and very conceptual and on the ground input from you, since you just came back from Iraq. And by the way, together with us in the audience, we have two gentlemen from Iraq, Dr. Ammar, who's also from Iraq, right? Dr. Ammar, can we see Dr. Ammar? Yeah, Dr. Ammar is from Iraq. Mr. Mutadi is from Ministry of Justice, Iraq, right? They're both from Iraq, so they were smiling when you're telling the story about Iraq, and I never know that there are so many hundreds of checkpoints. Okay.
The time he went is there's rituals.
Rituals.
Yeah, you know Iraqi rituals, especially Shia, there's unique.
Okay.
So people will be very proud between Karbala and Najaf. So for this reason, the government needs to enhance the security because it's still
enhance security. Otherwise, it won't be that many. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. That is. Before we get Brother Samuel's input, this is interesting about the idea of security and peace and safety, right? And we have in our audience from China as well. One thing that they noticed in Malaysia, they don't see many policemen in Malaysia. They say, where are the policemen? In China, you see more policemen. So it's interesting. Do you feel more safe with policemen and security forces around, or you feel less safe? Worry when
there's something happening. There's something happening.
But that's true. We seldom see policemen in Malaysia that often. We see security guards, The USM has security guards. We don't have police. We don't see policemen that often. That's true too. And I think that's an important point to highlight. What type of peace do you want? I just want to recap what Dr. Wahid was conveying just now. What I've captured from Dr. Wahid was saying, he was highlighting a couple of things, maybe three things, maybe more than three. But what I caught from his input just now was about this idea of new world order is BRI, the reflective of the new world order, that China will be very active in creating this new world order. That's one. The other one is about the diplomacy idea. What kind of diplomacy, what kind of ideology underlying the diplomacy of China. And the idea of sustainable peace, what kind of peace that is being promoted, kind of a different model of peace, maybe, not necessarily the democracy, the democratic model, but what do you see as emerging from China's presence and China spreading throughout the Middle East? Yeah. So the floor is yours now, Samir. The ball is in your court, rather.
The important thing, just the
go ahead.
He mentioned the doctor. What is the strategy behind militarization? Is like Iraq, when America come to Iraq, and right now Iraq, what happened? And China support the BRI by military.
Would it look like U.S. presence in Iraq or something else, right?
Yeah. So we have been same scenario, different or better.
Better, or or a lot of Chinese restaurants, mitsu, and you eat more ice cream then. Your take
about the democracy. The countries of the Middle East are undemocratic systems, as the China. China calls for non-interference is sovereign and internal affairs. I think this is not a problem between China and Middle East countries. I recommend that the countries of the Middle East look eastward, but with or through cooperation agreements, so that the countries do not fall under hegemony.
The hegemony. Yeah.
As the case, what they happened with the United States. About the diplomacy, and China used diplomacy with what you say, I think.
That's why I think Wahid was asking you what kind of diplomacy you see China. Yeah.
Okay, I think China relies on a set of options and always calls for the use of soft power, and present itself as a mediator. And just but all options of China, it's available, because put all investment in this road, need save this road, need the power from the Middle East, oil, gas, like that, need open trade with Europe and other countries. I think China used so much strategies, or many strategies, maybe one or two or mixed or three strategies.
So there is no political ideology, just economic ideology. I mean, something like that.
Yeah, economic ideology, but I think in the future, not now, because the relationship will be more strong. They are proximity. I think China to be one of to be a power, maybe. ايش يعني انها تفرض
Expose.
his policy.
Oh, they were revealed. So
Yeah.
now they are holding first. They're showing that.
Yeah, same USA now, liberalism.
Yeah, liberalism.
Why?
Yes.
Expose federalism.
Oh, federalism, yeah, which is very, it matches with the Arab culture too. Okay. We will have this conversation, pursue the conversation. In one article, in Foreign Affairs, the journal Foreign Affairs, right? It's like a must read for international relations students. There's one article that talks about the 4 initiatives of China. 4 initiatives. BRI is one, Belt and Road Initiative is one. But China also have GSI, Global Security Initiative, and then the Global Development Initiative, and then GCI, Global Civilization, Tamadun in Arabic, initiative. So before, the cultural part was very soft, but civilizational is they are going strong right now. But it has a GSI, security initiative too. So now what you're saying just now about the 4 scenarios of militarization, right? Yeah. And one scenario is comprehensive militarization, right? So now I'm thinking, would that be under that particular scenario when it becomes comprehensive, yeah? Because now the idea of our forum is to remove any blind spots in our analysis. We do not want to be surprised by some scenario. You say, well, we talked about these scenarios before, so if this were to happen, this can lead to this scenario. So we want to be prepared. What kind of indicators, what kind of events can lead to these 2 particular scenarios that you talk about? Assertive approach, right? Assertive approach, militarily assertive, right? Yeah, assertive approach, or comprehensive militarization. What events can lead to that? These 2 scenarios. So when we see, this is what Brother Samir was talking about. You know, this we have. You say indicator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 1, 2, 3 have occurred. Another 2 occur, then it will lead to comprehensive militarization. So what do you see the events or the factors or the variables that can lead to that scenarios?
Okay. While a full-scale militarization of BRI remains, I think, unlikely scenario. China will likely employ a mixture of economic statecraft, deepening alliance, and judicious military deployment to safeguard its interests.
Okay, that is the so in futures studies we talk about the unlikely event, which is the wildcard scenario, right? Or the wildcard scenario.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but if it happens, it has great impact, right? So the question we want to ask and your inputs, what can lead to that scenario? Now China doesn't want to that scenario, but what can lead to that scenario?
For example, in G40, because, why they are military China and G40? I think because happened something. The pirates, because the pirate. Okay, in the future, what maybe maybe China's energy security at risk.
Okay, so
from Iran or Saudi Arabia or on the Belt and Road. We will make these scenarios.
Will lead to this scenario. So it's energy awareness.
Because the energy is very important. Not very important. The first important. Without energy, China nothing.
Yes. Yeah. So energy will be one of the sticking point in that can lead to assertive approach or comprehensive militarization. Okay. All right. How about okay, so there is one. Is there
maybe if the roads are seriously compromised?
The road.
Yeah.
The road. Yeah. The maritime road you're referring to.
The BRI.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that if the U.S. warships come, right?
Now the U.S. and China, I don't have any scenario to be honest with you, but I think still use the diplomacy between China and U.S. Cold War.
Yeah, still
economic Cold War.
Okay. Yeah. Let's play around with this idea a bit. Yeah, I'm someone who studied future, future studies. I'm interested in that. The what if scenario, right? So when COVID comes, we say, well, I tell you, COVID can come with A, B, C, D. COVID can come, right? You are not prepared, right? So you are talking about futures. Okay.
By the way, before, if Biden, not Biden, if
Donald
Trump come again.
Yeah, Donald Trump become president again.
To president in the USA.
Yeah.
I think they are come back strong war. Economic war between China and US.
China, US, yes.
This war between China and USA impact of the Middle East.
Yes.
And all countries.
All countries, of course, yes. So let's say Donald Trump comes in, or Kamala Harris comes in.
Or Kamala.
They escalate the economic war between China and US, right? Because it's good for their politics, right? Politics. You hating China is good politics for them. Yeah. China is good. UK can come in invest in US. There's no problem. But China come in invest in US. That's a problem because they are racist, isn't speaking, right? They're very concerned. Right? So same with Canada. Same with other. If come in invest, take half of the city is fine. If Japan comes in, if China comes in, if Hong Kong comes in, they're concerned because they're racist, right? Okay, now whoever becomes the president, they escalate economic war between China and US.
But they are different between
Trump and
Trump use power.
okay.
Kamala Harris or the Democratic in
The
general
Democrat, yeah.
use the international
Sanctions and all that.
okay or United Nations use the something like
Like
this.
that, okay.
Donald Trump no, just cut.
Yes. I'm not a supporter of Trump, and I'm a supporter of US. But Trump has not declared any war.
I support
Yeah,
Trump.
but Trump never fought any war, right? Under Trump, Trump did not initiate war. Biden, yes. Obama, yes. Clinton, yes. All these are
All
Democrats.
Democrats, yeah.
They're all Democrats. They love wars. They pretend to not like war, right? But they all attack other countries, right? Trump did not. He talk big, he talk like a
Because you
big.
talk about money. Don't
Yeah,
talk about
you talk about money, you give me money, I protect you, right? You don't give me money, I don't protect you, right? That's Trump language, right? But I'm not supporting Trump, yeah. I think somebody going to come here, I think. But anyway, whoever the president is, right? Whoever the president is, if there's an escalation of economic war, there's a threat to energy. There's a threat to energy source, and then the road. The sea, the maritime roads are being threatened, right? Can this lead to the assertive approach? Where
Let me rephrase, because
Yeah.
we talk about this summer. If there is, for example, if there is a conversation on the table inside Chinese to do this is approach, to do this is planning to militarate the BRI? Yeah, BRI. And all, there's agreement between China and other countries to support them military to protect their economy in these countries. Is there something like that?
Now this agreement between Djibouti and Pakistan.
Yeah.
There are a white paper in China strategies. White paper.
Continue.
There are a white paper. White paper talk about China try to open agreement or make agreement between United Arabian States and I think another countries, but because USA after that don't make this agreement.
That's for you. This is indicators for you. Maybe in the future, Chinese they do in the real way.
Chinese still try. They are a strategist white paper. China white paper.
Brother Samir,
Yeah.
can
Go ahead, Brother Wyatt.
I think the discussion of what is now, among the scholars that the influence of how the influence of certain value, I'm not saying about the country or bloc, but a certain value that being either implemented or followed by certain country, that is what actually what is influence me. And I see here, like in our region here in Southeast Asia, of course the value of democracy is of course attached. I do not see it very much in the Middle East. But I don't know the influence of this democracy value is going to be well, although the West is promoting the Arab Spring or whatever it is, which is still of course questioning. But how far do you see, Brother Sam, the influence of Chinese with, I do not know yet what is the value that the Chinese is bringing together all the projects that even was saying for the BRI, of course, the one that is very emerging. So, what do you think the influence? Of course, I know the Saudi Arabia is influenced by US. but I do not see the rest of other Olympian. So, what do you see? What's happening now, Brother Sami, in terms of the Chinese influence in region?
I think talking about the Saudi Arabia and hegemony from US
Hegemony.
hegemony, but I think the relation between China and Saudi Arabia going up from Mohammed bin Salman start in the Saudi Arabia. There are, I think, many reasons. First one, wait please. Because I think there are attention between Saudi Arabia and America because the human rights in United Nations, because Jamal Khashoggi and what they are happened in Turkey, and they are a new project for our vision for Mohammed bin Salman, رؤية vision 2013. Need make smart city. I think need China, and China need petrol or fuel to make to grow to China grow, economic grow. I think this is the relationship between China and Saudi Arabia. By the way, the army sales between China and Saudi Arabia going up after BRI, and the visitor as a president going up between China and Saudi Arabia exactly after BRI 2013.
So the political proximity.
Yeah, there are political proximity between China and Saudi Arabia, just with Saudi Arabia. Why? I think because Saudi Arabia still have power. But for example, in Jordan, no, zero. In China, maybe. Sometimes yes, sometimes not, because I don't know why.
Before I come here, maybe Ammar, he knows about this. Before I come here to Malaysia, the demonstration happened in Iraq. It's a huge one. And people demand about the correction and against corruption, and also they want to services for the government. Of course, because of the bad corruption from 2003 till 2018, and also people, because of ISIS and terrorism, people need to change the situation. But one reason underground, the government did agreement between China and Iraq, exchange petrol by constructions.
Okay.
So the Iraq give petrol to China, and China give constructions in every aspect, in aspects, and that is something very to U.S. So U.S. came to Iraq, and there is agreement between Iraq and also U.S. don't need China control, economic control on Iraq. In this situation, what did happen? So the U.S. How can I say, support this is agenda in Iraq to push this demonstration to change the government, and they happen. The government changed already. The prime minister changed already, and the agreement between China and Iraq is become not stable, or is something not finished yet.
I see.
Right. So that's how the Chinese affect in the region, and how the U.S. conflict and this affection. Because there is worry to China control in the Middle East or something like that. So
it's a regime change by US when the regime is closer to China.
Yeah.
In Iraq.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yes, like something like that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So for example, I support the administration. I support to change the regime because all the corruption. I know that.
Yeah.
But if you talk in objective way.
Yes, objective,
So,
yeah.
yeah, as one of reason is that
Is
when
one
the
of-
government be very close to the China in economic way.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah, this is I think that is another indicator that can lead to a more stronger assertive presence of China in the Middle East, right? Because when we have governments that are unfriendly to China, China will feel much more threatened. Yeah?
Yes,
So
yeah.
that is another factor. I just want to bring in another player in this game, right? Russia, right? Russia, right? And Russia is a player in the Middle East,
Yeah.
right? And now Russia and China are close friends, right? With the BRICS, the Brazil, Russia,
Yeah.
India, China, and South.
I think Saudi Arabia is same. Saudi Arabia.
I think there are many other countries
Yeah.
coming in, including Malaysia.
Oh.
I want to
Wow.
sign up to
100 bricks.
Yeah.
100
You want
bricks
to join
via
the BRICS too?
$100.
Yeah.
Already
Join the
joined,
BRICS,
bro.
huh?
Already joined.
Already joined. I think they signed something like
Already
that. Huh?
Indonesia.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Ah, Malaysia.
Malaysia is part of BRICS.
Wow.
No,
I think Saudi Arabia, no, not Saudi Arabia, not in the BRICS.
I think Saudi is also
India.
India,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
BRICS.
yeah.
I is India.
Okay, but why? But you know now, India and BRICS. And the same time, India in with USA.
Yeah.
Okay, this economic, what?
Yes. Now
The
that
policy.
that makes it complicated. So I'm just bringing Russia into our discussion, and we are talking about military right now, right? This is the four scenarios of militarization, right? So Russia basically has a very strong military presence, right?
Yeah.
And Russia's role in the Middle East is also a military role.
Not so much, just in Syria.
In Syria,
Just
basically
in
Syria,
Syria,
right? Now,
Because Syria, it's open. Russia think or believe the Syria the main door to the Middle East.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's bring in Russia in, right? And that the conflict in Ukraine can complicate matters in the Middle East, right?
Yeah, that's
Conflict.
between Gaza and
Yeah.
Israel right now.
Yes. So, and that might have connection with China too, because Russia is a good friend of China. China is a good friend of China.
And
Russia too.
Russia, China, Iran.
Iran.
Yeah.
Iran too.
This is, I think, this is the three countries friend
Yes.
or Halif
Alliance.
alliance.
Yes. So this, and from a military perspective, these are all very strong military countries. Now China has not been projecting its military power, of course, but we are talking about how China would project or will project, right? And China has not, and in its history, China doesn't. It's not seen as a imperial military force, right?
Yeah.
Since Cheng Ho's time and all that. So this is a change in the what is it? The paradigm of Chinese military. If China were to militarize, and to really go into Middle East. So this is still I'd like to see your thoughts, hear your thoughts about that possibility of China being a serious military force.
There are a fact in political science. What's this fact in the fact? The political change. This fact, the political change. In the past, who leading the world? I think British.
Yeah, the last era.
Yeah. British. Then come USA.
Yes.
Who can believe America lead the world? Okay.
You lead the world, yeah.
Yeah. Now, why I tell you they are a fact, they are a fact in political science. Okay. Now, I think China, now we don't believe maybe China lead or no, not lead. No, I think in future maybe lead. They are a scenario to lead because that why make all this project because in the future need economy and need technology.
Yes, yes.
China make war about this economy. Just that my idea.
So you're saying that you're actually recognizing that China can become a military force, and that is maybe it's not just I'm not sure we see Brother Samir's but yeah, okay. You're saying that it is not, I mean, the idea of China not being likely in a military force. Dr. Wahid was talking this Deng Xiaoping's philosophy of hide your strength, bite your time, right? Bite or buy your time.
Buy or bite?
Gigit atau tadi gigit atau beli dia? Beli waktu lah, gigit. Buy your time, right? Anyways,
buy or bite?
I don't know. Dr. Wahid, you're saying just now Deng Xiaoping, he says something about hide your strength and bite your time or buy your time.
Hide your time. That I read from the article. I think
bite, gigit, yeah.
Bite.
Is it bite?
Buy or can you hear my voice? No, it is by B-I-T-I.
Oh, bite.
And we are delta equal. So it is like,
Okay.
It will come out when the thing is properly hidden.
Yes.
So when this happens, then China will just won't make it then set in terms of.
This is very Sun Tzu out of war. This is Sun Tzu out of war, right? This is a classic Sun Tzu out of Sun Tzu out of war philosophy. Because when you're not strong, you do not show your strength there.
Yeah.
Only you're absolutely strong. Then you crush the enemy, right? You don't threaten the enemy, you crush the enemy. That's Sun Tzu, right?
So that's the problem with the United States.
That's Sun Tzu. So, if China were to follow Sun Tzu out of war, right? When become really strong, they do not come and negotiate anymore. They just crush you like that, right? Which is fascinating, right? But then again, you look at what US did to Japan. They released nuclear bomb, right?
Yeah.
So it's even worse, anyways, that's a different story. I just like to open the session a bit more. And anyone else have some other thoughts or comments or questions?
I have, but I think you see first online. Maybe someone.
Okay. Brother Muhammad Ali has, but if there's anyone from our online audience has something to convey, to say, to ask. If there's none, then Brother Mutadi has.
Yeah, so there is, Friedrich Engels, the friend of Marx, in his book, the Origin of State, Family, and the Private Ownership.
Yes.
He told that the first war in the mankind history, when someone take land and say that's my own.
Yeah.
So this is mean the power or the authority belong to the economy, and the military protect this procedure. So, in this way, as the Dr. Wahi said, when the America came to Iraq, so now the situation in Iraq is miserable. Also, Israel and America, they just write in the social media or newspaper, see Iran, when Iran entered to Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Yemen by military way, see what happened. All the countries destroyed already. So maybe in one thing that's right, but another is wrong. That's this question. If the purpose of China to protect the BRI, to protect economy, to protect constructions, to build the countries in good way. But maybe the result reflects maybe and lead to the destroy the countries, not protect the countries, because still there's many powers and balance of power in the world, and especially the United States is still very strong, especially in the Middle East or other countries, and they not lead to China control and what the unstable the situation and sustainable and unsustainable peace. And not sustainable.
Not non-sustainable.
Not sustainable, unsustainable peace. That's
Okay.
how can we answer these questions?
Go ahead. I think you want to say something. Yeah?
Yes, adding Mumtadi. Because, Brother Samir, I mean, China's main purpose in having their political strength in Middle East is to gain their economic strength. Because when we talk about military power, if the Middle East region becomes unstable politically, securitically, it will impact the economic development becomes lesser.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, if we think logically, so in order to make sure to ensure that the China's BRI interest can be maintained and sustained in the Middle East region, I don't think that the military approach is a good way for China to protect their economic interests in Middle East. So instead, we can see now China's diplomacy, China's foreign policy in Middle East is often, to promote peace. So that's why we see Saudi, Iran, so China try to bring them into one table, and also we see like the Hamas and Fatah, China also brought them into one table. So I think they tried their best to make sure that the Middle East region becomes safer, and instead of increasing the military growth in the Middle East, which caused the economic movement becomes threatened. So that's why I'm still curious. When I read your paper, until now I'm still. Sometimes I disagree with you because China, they focus not in the military, but they focus more on economy. Because economic and military is something that is, contrary to each other. It's contrary to each other.
Contrary to each other.
Yeah.
In the context of Middle East.
In the context of Middle
In
East.
the context of Middle
So
East.
China, they want peace. They want to bring peace so that they can protect their interests, not to bring war.
Okay. By the way, China not bring the war. Middle East, look, Middle East region has an important geographical location and is a gateway to Europe and a large commercial market. This is the first one. Second one, the instability or instability of the region negatively affect the Silk Road. Okay? Okay or no?
Okay.
Okay. For example, the Taliban was carrying out military strikes against Chinese facilities in Pakistan. Okay. If Taliban not make like this, okay, China no need to bring any military in Pakistan or try to make nowadays China try to make a big agreement in military in Pakistan. Why? Because Taliban. Okay. Why? Because India support from USA try to, or open India Road now. This India Road impact to the Silk Road or BRI. And they are start war, economic war. Just.
Probably funny.
Yes, go ahead. Let's do it.
I very much, attracted by the comment, brother from the Ministry of Justice of Iran about the balance of power. That's really the case. Not only in certain region like Middle East or Southeast Asia, even in global. So if the discourse and in quotation mark, the perception of leaders of the world is still on this matter, on balanced power, then I think the world's never been in peace. Because then what happens is that every step by this leader, they always come with the suspicious, the perception that let's just say maybe doing something that Malaysia is threat, or Malaysia something that Indonesia is threat, or Singapore is threat, or other countries threat. Then the discussion among the security weak in certain country, then they come to the conclusion, okay, so then we have to make more power, we have to buy Israeli stuff, and that's the same thing also from the other country, and that's what the balance of power is going to be always in a worse position. So if that happens, and I think that is what's happening in the Middle East still, about this balance of power mainstream. So I think we need, I mean, as a polarized, I can say one thing, I cannot be a person who justify or doing this one, is that having an alliance, that is the solution. So when they are time of joining the existing one, like NATO or Warsaw or others, but making a new one, which really keeping what the respective own country. If that happens, if every country thinks about in a peaceful way, like ASEAN, we have like Asian Week, or what happening in Myanmar, for example, it's very worse. But we still keep maintaining how the ASEAN Week is, become a solution. Although sometimes it's sad because letting killing is still happening, but there is a way or a system that may work out to solve, to give a solution for the certain case. So that is what my token of ideas in responding from brother from Muftadi about the balance of power. So that discourse need to be reduced, creating more coalition in peace and making certain values become an agreement for every country to keep.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wahid. There's the as long as countries operate from the idea of competing and wanting to have that dominance in power, and the issue becomes balance of power. The peace is still fragile in that sense.
Fragile.
Yeah. Not stable, not sustainable, and not stable.
So maybe the peace between the most power region.
Mm-hmm.
But how about the small countries? That's a problem, because how can I say that? The war on behalf of. The war on behalf of, that will use this strategy for foreign policy. So maybe inside China, inside US, most peaceful, because they're two balanced power between them.
Yes.
But how about they want to control the small countries? That's the problem. This is they paid price.
The proxy wars.
They pay the price right now.
They pay. Thank you. And here we have a comment from a gentleman, Mr. Mahduk Budiman. A comment here. In the context of the Belt and Road Initiative, how does, a question for you, Mr. Samir, how does China manage diplomatic and economic challenges related to its strategic relationship with Arab countries, especially concerning differing local interests and priorities? To what extent can China leverage its economic and investment relationships with Arab countries to influence their foreign policy and national security strategies? And how might this impact traditional alliances such as with the United States? what are the long-term implications of there are many questions here. What are the long-term implications of strategic partnerships with Arab countries for regional stability and global security, particularly in relations to conflicts in the Middle East and international tensions involving China? So you can choose which part of the question to answer. It's a lot of questions there.
Up, please. Up, please. I can read the question.
Yeah, you good. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there. Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. Mr. Mahduk Budiman is a student from a PhD, postgraduate scholar, student from Islamic Studies, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Malaysia. So from Umam, Islamic Studies from Umam. So I guess the essence comes down to the. Yeah, go ahead.
I will choose the first question. I will choose the first question because just okay. I will answer the first question. He said, how does China manage diplomatic and economic challenges related to it is a strategic relationship with Arab countries, especially concerning different local interests and priorities? China don't care about the local interests. China and the Arab country don't care about the interest of China interior inside China.
Domestic.
Don't
issues.
care. Now the relationship between country.
Yes.
Okay, just this is my question. This is my answer.
So the idea of non-interference, right?
Yeah.
The non-interference, they do not interfere with domestic issues, right?
But the BRI must give an impact to the local interest.
Yeah.
Must, but we're talking about the fact what China needs.
Okay. I think the part of the question can be seen in other countries, right? I suppose Indonesia would be a good example here, where the government engages with China, right?
Yeah.
To bring development to the country, right? But the development can lead to conflict with the locals.
Yeah.
Because there's a replacement of workers, for instance. So the workers, the China bring in their workers.
Yeah.
It's worker.
Oh, okay.
China bring in their workers.
Yeah.
That's one example.
Same in Iraq, sir.
So one example. Another example is the government, the local government, it can be Indonesia for instance, which said, okay, this piece of land, I want to develop it, I want China to develop it, right? Therefore you, the villagers, move out from this land. Displacement of people.
Replacement.
That happens. That has happened. That created conflict. There's demonstration of that in Indonesia. So what's your take on that one? Does it happen in Middle East?
I mean, Iraq, for example, Chinese worker, his salary more than Iraqi worker, and they will always demand, why Chinese? We are better. Priority for us. Priority for us. Because it's our region, our oil, our money. I ask why? Why the Chinese worker takes salary more than Iraqi?
Yes.
Why?
You know why? Because there are agreements between Iraq government, Iraq government and China government.
That's question.
Okay, they are,
That's question.
Because they are agreement. Any project, China, for example, China needs investment in Jordan.
Yes.
They are named Al-Attarat project to make electric.
Minor trade, yeah.
Okay.
Aparat.
العطارات, yeah. Okay. This place name. Okay. One of the condition to make agreement, we should be I don't know how many people or workers from China to work inside this project.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the agreement.
Yeah, this is agreement.
The workers can.
I think, Doctor, is a very important thing between, if we talk about right now, US and China, China don't care, I mean, in the foreign policy, China don't care about the regime. They care about the relationship between regime, whatever is regime, dictatorship, democracy, whatever.
Yes.
And that in case that's bad things, because if you talk about US take care about regime. If there is contract happening between the regime and US, right?
Yes.
And always take this is the paper, democracy, liberally, human rights, right? And in this way, US sometimes care about society, not care about the regime. And that's because sometimes society, there's no power for society, on weak. I test that in the Saddam Hussein regime. Society is very weak. Society means savior, to save them, right? And of course, the same way in the North Korea right now. I mean, the society needs savior to save them from the regime, but they cannot talk. If they talk, the regime will miscare them, right? To cut, right? Yeah. China don't care. China don't care about the regime, the relationship between the regime. That's the local interests, also the other local interests.
Yes.
It's actually interesting when we're discussing, as you know, I've been working with the US Embassy in Jakarta.
Yes, US Embassy in Jakarta,
And how, the government is working on the value that I was mentioning about the democracy, about, human rights, and many times this aspect has become like a prerequisite for any, project that the West and especially the United States is always mentioned, even and especially my brother Samir can confirm about it, especially in the military cooperation. Human rights is a very, is at the main aspect that everyone has to be clear, otherwise they cannot be joining in any other program. So instead of, we can of course further discuss about whether like having such requirement is important in developing an economic cooperation or whatever it is between the China and the West in making and creating the new, I always say that, the new world order. Whether it is important to have that kind of democracy value, human rights and everything, rather than just continue working together and making peace. That would be a certain case that the scholar and also the state need to be pay attention on, which I think come first and which one making more better when I think could be done, but there are certain things that has to be either passing or has to be considered as a factor which is very important in a certain value that the country is for. So further discussion need to be held, probably Pani, maybe focus group discussion or
yes.
discuss this related thing.
Yes. I think that is a big difference as well between China and the US, because China takes this as part of the prerequisite, as Dr. Wahid was saying, and some US companies also do that. Some of them, So that is an important distinction between China and
the researcher talk about the China passive neutrality. China use passive neutrality.
Passive neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yeah. Okay.
Because China is not taking the initiative to solve the problem of the Middle East
Yes.
region, such as the Arab-Israel conflict,
Yes.
or as a simple to provide financial assistance to the poorest countries. The China don't take this initiative. Yeah, this is a problem.
Yes.
Because why if when we talk about the hegemony,
Hegemony.
yeah, why US winner in Middle East, but and why China no?
Yes. No.
I think this is the reason.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
So engaging with the people, with the society, is not part of.
Yeah, I think US, that's very important thing. I think the US and Europe, for example, for my point of view, they understand human being better than others. That's very question. Here is the importance of social science, anthropology, sociology, psychology, and political science also. That's very important thing. Until you can manipulate in them or manage them or do domain over them. So, for example, whatever US is this bad foreign policy, but the right human rights, liberalism, for example, freedom, it is the noble idea. That's noble idea. And everyone he needs that. Everyone needs human rights. Everyone needs liberalism. Need the freedom. Need to speak. Need to practice. That's noble idea. Whatever he support this idea, maybe Israel support this idea or US support that. There's bad, yes, but the idea not bad. The idea is good, and every human need that and demand and that need his freedom, need to speak, to thinking, to practice, something like that. That's why the US they just take this as logo for them or something like to demand. We support human rights, we support freedom, we support that. That's very important thing. Yeah.
Thank you. We also have Dr. Arif who just joined in. Dr. Arif is the director of Asian Research Center, ASEAN Research Center in Universitas Islam Universitas Islam Negeri Fatmawati Soekarno in Bengkulu. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Arif. Good to have you.
It's such a pleasure to join in this discussion this morning.
Maybe you have some what you like to ask or comment you like to make about China's presence in ASEAN as well, since you're heading the research center, the ASEAN Research Center. Go ahead.
Yeah, still try to bear discussion.
Okay.
Something important, I think, and I think this is going to be really important to discuss because the relationship between ASEAN, Southeast Asia, and China is sometimes it's high tension, sometimes it's low. So I think their comment and also their analysis also is very important for our research center. So thank you so much for inviting me in this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Arif. This is where we can see the differential understanding of military, the Chinese military, China's military, because they might not be interested in expanding their military in Middle East, but not in South China Sea. You see South China Sea? The Chinese military is of I would say utmost importance, is of importance to China. So might be there is some difference between Middle East
and South China Sea,
Southeast Asia, right? And that has to do with South China Sea. So from the context of ASEAN, since the Arif is here, military and militarization or Chinese militarization and the scenarios become very relevant and important to us, and it is happening. It's not in the future is happening right now because there's military operations occurring, right, in South China Sea. Right? We are talking about there are airplanes invading the airspace of different countries, including Malaysia. They have come in, the airplanes, we're talking about airplanes, right? Come into the airspace, right? But that's not something that is rare among ASEAN countries, especially between Singapore and Malaysia, because Singapore airspace is very small. So when we fly a bit, you enter Malaysian airspace. Fly a bit more, you enter the Indonesian airspace. Because Singapore is small, right? But we're talking now about China. So what you presented to us about the scenarios of, the four scenarios, the measured, measured strategy, the assertive approach, the maritime focus, the comprehensive militarization, is more likely to occur in Southeast Asia. And it's occurring in some ways, right? So that is an indicator of China's tendency in military too. So in our understanding of Chinese foreign policy, China is in general is not an aggressor, it's not an aggressive power, but it protects its territories and borders. And they do it in a strong way. We're talking about Tibet, we're talking about Taiwan, talking about Hong Kong, talking about Japan, and those are the China's.
South Korea also, there's American bases, bases there.
Yes. And South China Sea.
Yeah, South China Sea.
So this is relevant, and US presence is also relevant there because
Taiwan.
Yes. So this is an interesting thing. So one of the predictions of Farid Zakaria, the editor, the chief editor of Newsweek magazine.
Okay.
Not Time magazine, Newsweek magazine. He actually discusses this, that the likely conflict that can lead to World War III is in East Asia, East or Southeast Asia, East Asia, meaning Taiwan, China, and also because that China is ready to launch real military operations, and then they have military forces on the border ready to engage.
But I think there are agreement between
ASEAN.
China and Malaysia, for example.
Yes.
There are security agreements.
Yes. I don't think Malaysia wants to engage China in any kind of war, right? And I don't think Indonesia wants to as well. But we are concerned about that. Yeah, I think so. From an ASEAN perspective, and ASEAN begins with as a security pact, right? Dr. Ari would know that. ASEAN begins as a security organization, right? But now has become more than that. So, anyways, we have another 5 minutes left. Anyone wants to say anything or comment anything?
Maybe I can.
Oh yes, Dr. Ahmad, who's also from Iraq, right? Another voice from Iraq, please.
So, like for the presentation and the discussion, like we believe a lot about the effect of BRI in the politics and economy. But I would like to ask what the effect of BRI in terms of culture, the architect of the Middle East countries. So there is any contribution, any effect, the term of culture, the effect of this rule.
Dr. Amar, you're a scientist, right? And then maybe also culture and science also, right?
Okay.
Very good point. We're talking about military. Let's talk about culture a bit.
Okay. The economic cooperation under BRI generates culture cooperation and thus language learning. For example, before BRI, the relationship between Saudi Arabia and China, normal. After BRI, the trade exchange going up, then investment going up, then there are agreement, a culture agreement.
Cultural
How?
agreement.
How? Saudi Arabia sent so much people to study in China in the university. And Saudi Arabia and China sent Chinese people or students to study in Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia opened Confucius Institute
Okay.
or school.
Confucius.
Yeah. China opened Arabic school to learn Arabic. That's mean that BRI, there are impact of the BRI to the culture. Yeah.
Yes, and Confucius Centers or Institute teaches language as well, and
Teaching language and
culture, and now
China's culture.
Chinese culture, and now under Global Civilization Initiative, which is a new initiative from China. There are 4 initiatives. One is Global Civilization Initiative, is promoting the Chinese culture. So it is one of the key person is descendants of Sun Yat-sen, Sun Yat-sen, who has a house over here. So they are much more serious to develop soft power, if you want to call it that, soft power.
Soft power.
Because all this while they haven't developed soft power. So this is an important aspect. Although we want to say there's almost all countries have Chinatown, right? That's where we have the soft power there, right?
It's everywhere.
So it's not difficult for them to establish cultural links.
You know, I think there's no Chinatown in the Middle East.
There's no Chinatown?
Yeah, no.
Ah.
Yeah, I think this still the Chinese culture is strange for us, or we don't accept it so much. Maybe we accepted the Christian culture from Europe more than Chinese culture. Still we don't accept the Chinese so much, the culture. Maybe right, Samer?
What?
In Middle East.
In the Middle East, we don't accept Chinese culture so much. Especially the Chinese culture is still strange.
You know how you know that? For example, for example, in Jordan, one school to learn one.
Only one.
And maybe one restaurant. Okay, but
Chinese restaurant.
yeah, Chinese restaurant. But if you go to Saudi Arabia, you can find more.
Yes.
Maybe I don't know.
Why? Because شو يعني جالية?
Community. Chinese community.
Because the community people in Jordan little, but in Saudi Arabia,
Many more.
Yeah,
Yes. People come to Penang, they ask, where's the Chinatown? Right? I said, Penang is Chinatown.
Chinatown.
The whole of Penang is Chinatown. And there's Chinatown in Indonesia, there's a lot of Chinatown, right?
Indonesia, yes.
Klenteng.
Singapore also.
There's another Chinatown, it's a Chinatown.
Singapore is
China country.
Similar with Penang, Singapore.
So this is 12 o'clock. So we will call it a day when we will adjourn our forum at this point. We want to extend our appreciation to our speaker, Mr. Samir, our Middle East analyst and consultant who is operating in Qatar right now.
Yeah.
It's a Jordanian operating in Qatar. And also to Dr. Wahid, our Deputy Vice Chancellor from University of Muhammadiyah, Malaysia, who is also an expert in international relations and counterterrorism. And for all of you who have attended either online or here in Center for Policy Research. So you want to say something? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife online now. I can't make anything now.
Oh, yeah. This is
No.
Okay.
Tell me.
We on
remove this
speed.
chair and
Madam Leah Emilia. Is that Leah Emilia? No. Oh, Mr. Hajat too. Mrs. Hajat too. Oh, this is your wife. Present all the way from Qatar. Yeah. Okay. Welcome. So thank you very much, including Dr. Arif there. I see Dr. Mutiara there, although the name I can't really recognize. And yeah,
The son name.
that's the son's name. Oh, all right. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Wahid, and safe journey back to Tanah Air, Malaysia.
By the way, we met
Second host.
Dr. Wahid
Very
face to
soon,
face
bro.
last
Yeah?
last
I see.
I got my son here from Repani.
Oh, your son. Where's your son?
Yes, Aulia Ridwan.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yes. Welcome. Aulia Ridwan. Yeah. Yes. Welcome to our discussion. It's good to bring your son. Where are you're studying now? Mas Alia. Where are you studying? Where are you? Can you hear me? No.
Unmute.
Alia, Mas Aulia.
Okay, now it's on.
Where are you studying? I can't hear. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
You got a problem with your mic.
Mike, I suppose so. It's okay. Good to see the son joining the father as well.
Okay, bro.
Early start. Inshallah, we will have other sessions after this. Perhaps Dr. Wahid as well. He will be one of our speakers on terrorism and counter-terrorism. I think that's another important topic to have. So thank you very much again. We'll see you all in our next session on Global Futures Forum, where we are pursuing the aim of building a responsible future while understanding that there are different scenarios of the future and improving